This is a TV show from, I think, 1999 titled Young People Ask, How Can I Make Real Friends? In all its 1990s glory. Now, it was actually produced by Jehovah's Witnesses, so the cringe factor is automatically upped by at least 10 points. This is about being a teenager and not making friends outside the religion. Very specifically, they're trying to convince teenagers in the religion to stay away from outsiders. Now, this is part 2. If you haven't seen the other, don't sweat it. This stands independently of the rest. But in part 1, they made a point to show this Jehovah's Witness girl, pictured on the left here, start a group project with one of her classmates. A group project led to going to her house to work with her, which led to hanging out with her friends, which led to going shopping with them, which led to materialism, which led to fornication. I mean, it got completely out of control really quickly. I don't think that they've hit the fornication part yet, but I think they're about to. It's kind of ridiculous. Just spirals out of control when you have non-Jehovah's Witness friends. So anyways, in this episode, right here, they're depicting the girl knocking on doors with a fellow Jehovah's Witness, and they're about to go out to eat. And this woman on the left here is going to tell her why she's making all the wrong decisions and how she should only make friends within the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses and not on the outside, no matter what. So let's listen to what they have to say to each other as they go to this restaurant. Check this out. Oh, and while we listen to this, we're going to play some Mario Maker too. I remember loving the YPA books when I was a kid. Makes me queasy thinking about it now. Yeah, totally. The Red book, it was either from the 80s or the 90s, I don't remember which, said that touching yourself will turn you gay. That's probably my favorite quote from any book ever. Touching yourself will turn you gay. I mean, you are touching a dude, even though that dude is you. Kind of gay behavior, I guess. Mark Smith, I could be wrong, but didn't the Bible indicate that Jesus would come back in glory that all would know? Paraphrasing. It's an interesting point. Hadn't thought about it. Yeah, maybe it does say that. I'm not sure exactly what it says about it. That's very possible. I mean, Jehovah's Witnesses, there are a billion holes to poke in Jehovah's Witnesses theology. They're completely full of it. They have no idea what they're talking about. And they have actually changed the wording in their Bible, in the New World Translation, to back up what they already believe. I am dead serious. I have a few examples of this on my channel. All right, let's listen to what they have to say here.
That Saturday morning, I went out in field service with Stacey Evans, but my mind was not on preaching.
You want to do the next one?
No, that's okay. You could.
God, this is bringing back like PTSD memories of going to the doors and stuff. I remember being asked, "Do you want the next one?" It's terrible, dude. Terrible. I am so glad I don't have to knock on people's doors anymore who don't care or aren't interested or whatever anyways. Just so cringy.
I told Stacey that I was hungry and wanted to stop service early.
Bad witness. You're supposed to take joy in knocking on doors, and if you don't, then there's something wrong with you. You're broken.
She insisted on buying me lunch.
Okay, here's your salad.
She bought her lunch? That
Oh, thanks. It'll be a couple minutes on your burger, honey.
Thanks.
great idea. Complain about the food that she just bought you. Genius.
So, how are you doing? I mean, getting used to the new school and everything.
Okay, actually. Most everyone's been pretty nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and she's feeling guilty because she kind of befriended these people a little bit. I mean, she hasn't broken any rules yet. There hasn't been any fornication or whatever. Like, she's just hanging out and living life and doing what teenagers do. That's it. But they have to make her feel guilty anyway. They have to make her feel like just for being friendly with these kids. That's it.
Hey, listen, I'm having some friends over tonight. I want you to come. I actually made a cheesecake that I'm proud of.
I'd love to, but I promised to go into the city with some friends.
Oh, from our home?
Ooh, boy. Now she's getting confronted, right? These are friends outside the religion, and that's a big fucking deal.
No, from school. But they're just gonna show me around the city. They're real nice.
Uh-oh.
Look, I hope you don't mind me asking this, but how well do you really know these kids?
What do you mean?
Oh, my God.
I mean, do they have any interest in the Bible?
I don't know. It hasn't come up.
See, that's what it all centers around with Jehovah's Witnesses. If they are not planning to become members of the religion, you have no business being friends with them. That's what it's all about.
But they're not into drugs or anything like that.
But it doesn't matter if they're into drugs or not. If they are not Jehovah's Witnesses, then you have no business being friends with them, period.
In fact, they're even nicer than some of the kids at the Kingdom Hall.
Ooh, she shouldn't have said that.
Well, even if that were true, don't you think you have to be careful with people who may not even believe in the Bible?
They could be atheists. Gasp! Nobody wants that. Can you imagine being friends with atheists?
Don't forget what happened to Dinah.
Oh, that's why they told the story in the beginning. So if you missed the previous episode or whatever that I did on this, it depicted a bunch of Jehovah's Witness kids telling the story of Dinah and basically victim blaming her, pointing out that she was out there having a good time when she should have, been inside like a good wife or a good child or whatever. She shouldn't have gone out and put herself in a position where somebody could attack her. The victim blaming is what they were doing. It's a Bible story.
Dinah.
Yeah, you remember Jacob's daughter?
These kids are not Canaanites. They're very nice.
Maybe, but what are their beliefs? What are their morals?
They're not your morals, and that's what really matters here.
So you're saying that I shouldn't be friendly with anyone in school who isn't a witness?
That is exactly what Jehovah's Witnesses believe, yes. Now, it's not a disfellowshipping offense. They're not going to, tell you that you can't, talk to your family ever again if you whatever. But they will do what's called pre-shunning. It's an unofficial name where you didn't do anything wrong, but they can clearly see that you are not following the expectations of Jehovah's Witnesses. So they will cut contact premature. They won't hang out with you or talk to you anywhere near as much as they might have otherwise. Dude, why am I in a car right now? This car sucks. They also have something called marking, and that's a totally different thing. That's basically where they are allowed to talk to and hang out with you at the Kingdom Hall, but not outside the Kingdom Hall. You're not allowed to have friends on a regular basis. You're not allowed to have them over to your house. And you're not allowed to have outsiders as friends either. And in my opinion, I would say it's even worse than disfellowshipping because there is no end date on that. You're marked forever, basically. Or until the elders decide. There is no, automatic, okay, this is over. With disfellowshipping, you have to be reinstated. And once you're reinstated, it's like it never happened. I mean, it takes literally years to get reinstated. But, at least there's an end date to it. That not so with a marking.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all.
Sarah, let's step back just a few seconds and catch what they said.
So you're saying that I shouldn't be friendly with anyone in school who isn't a witness?
Yes, that is what she's saying. She's just saying it in a veiled way.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I mean, the Bible tells us to love our neighbors. But doesn't it also warn us that it's dangerous to get too close to certain people?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Jehovah's Witnesses love to deny this fact about their religion, that they expect you to not be friends with anybody inside the or outside the religion. They love to deny it, but here we are listening to it.
People that don't follow God's standards? Dinah learned that the hard way.
No, she was attacked, okay? That's a different situation. Are you kidding me? They're victim blaming over here. What is this?
But don't we have to teach people about the Bible? How can I do that if I don't spend any time with them?
Well, that's the thing. The time you spend with them should be spent converting them to being a Jehovah's Witness. If they don't want to talk about that, you leave. The conversation does not deviate, period. It does not deviate, or you leave.
Oh, so you have had a chance to witness to them?
Well, no. But that's not the point. Lori and her friends are not bad.
Okay. But do they encourage you to do good things?
Like,
So they can't just live their lives. They have to actively encourage her to be a Jehovah's Witness. And if they don't, then you have to cut them off, period.
Like personal study, meetings, field service.
no. Look, Stacy, I've already given my word. And Jesus did say I have to let my yes mean yes, right?
Tara, do you really think Jesus meant saying yes to things that can hurt you?
Stacy, I'll be careful. I'm not gonna do anything stupid. Trust me.
So far, she hasn't done anything wrong in the eyes of the religion. Not a disfellowshipping offense. She has hung out with outsiders, and that's, obviously forbidden. And she's expressed an interest in a boy that has an earring. He looks like a bad boy. He looks like a young Justin Timberlake. So, anyway, there's that. But she hasn't done anything worthy of, being excommunicated or anything.
Here's your burger, honey.
See, and this is just one more distinction between the two that she's noticing. She's about to eat the burger and Stacy is praying. I.e., she's a bad Jehovah's Witness is the point. God, this is cringy, dude. This is absolutely terrible. Damn, I wish I'd gone a little bit longer yesterday because I was right on the edge, dude. It was about to get crazy, and now it's here. Now it's crazy.
Stacy's words affected me far more than she realized. But I had already made up my mind.
And let's go. You know Tara's gonna turn into a pumpkin. Just squeeze me.
I lied to my parents.
Lied to your okay. You know why she lied to him, right? Because they'd never say okay to her being friends with an outsider. There's nothing wrong with being friends with an outsider. Nothing, all right? But she felt obligated to lie to them about this because it's such a stupid thing. It's such a little insignificant, trivial thing to be friends with outsiders. And if you aren't friends with outsiders, your mental health is wrecked. Trust me. Believe me. It's not good for you.
And told them I had plans with some friends from the congregation.
So how tall is it? It's like 300-400 stories. Not like 200. Does it matter? It's just tall, okay?
Where did they even go, I'm wondering. And what are they looking at? What is this? Let's find out what this is real quick. This is the one right here. Where is this? Is this? Oh, this is on Wall Street. Oh, so they're in New York City. Yeah. This is New York City. I haven't seen this one before, I don't think. I live in New York City. Well, can you believe it? These two pretending to sword fight, these monsters, right?
At first, we pretty much stayed together as a group. But soon, Mark and I were talking. I really enjoyed the attention.
Yeah, check it out. Shit, they're getting out of a subway. Nice. The NR, and then usually there's the Q train listed, the yellow ones on the bottom there. But I think the Q train is reasonably new, so yeah, it's probably not listed there, but that's awesome. And then the B and D line. Dude, I love New York City. New York City is just the absolute best. I can't believe they're depicting it here.
Love his stuff.
But you know he was stoned when he wrote those poems. You write better when you're high?
No, I'm not into drugs. Are you?
No, naturally, because every non-Jehovah's Witness, everybody who is outside the religion, is into drugs. Everybody. Every single person.
You know that used to be the tallest building in New York?
This is the beat to Coolio's song, Gangsta's Paradise. Oh, that's such a good song. And rest in peace, Coolio. Poor guy. I can't believe he died. Not long ago either. Yeah, he's young. Dude, I love New York City. I'm such a huge New York City fan.
Children! You want us to lift you up so you can see?
Mark made me feel special.
It's like I'm watching this video instead of playing the game. I really need to actually start playing the game rather than... because it's got me pulled in here. Where are they? I'm trying to figure out, like, what... Are these the World Trade Centers? Now the tallest building in New York City is One World Trade Center. There used to be the East Tower and the West Tower, and then, of course, they fell in 2001. But now they've built up a new one that's gigantic, and it's the same space. It takes up the same amount of space as the two towers did combined, and it's called One World Trade Center. It's the tallest building in New York City, 1,776 feet tall. That's very intentional, 1776. And it has a huge spire that comes up to the top, and it gets struck by lightning regularly. You can see a bunch of pictures of One World Trade Center being struck by lightning all the time, because that's what happens to the tallest buildings. The Empire State Building used to have a public observatory like this, a public observatory deck. Now the big observatory to go to is One World Trade Center. This is in 99, so I think it was in 99. So that means that this is before the towers fell. I'm not sure where they are, but yeah, New York City is a truly incredible, beautiful place to be. Absolutely beautiful. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience seeing the city. If you can make it at least once in your life, you should, in my opinion.
And the more I got to know him, the more I liked him.
59th Street Bridge, Roosevelt Park.
Yeah, I know all those places. I don't want to like say where I am, but I'll just say this. I'm on the east side of the park. I'm in Manhattan. It's a pretty incredible place for sure. I mean, there are inexpensive places in New York City too, so you don't have to be in like a skyscraper to live here or whatever. There are some really, really slummy places too. I mean, you can rent a place in New York City, even in Manhattan, for $800 a month. They do have places for that inexpensive, $800 a month. And they also have some for $10,000 a month. It just kind of depends on how much money you have to spend and where you want to live. If you want to be close to the park and you want to live in a high-rise or a skyscraper, it's going to be $6,000 to $10,000 a month. If you're okay with living in the city anywhere at all, doesn't really matter as long as you're here, you can get a place for pretty cheap. And same prices as any other place. You can get a place in Manhattan, for the same price as, Huntington, West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia, any of those places. It just kind of depends on what you're willing to spend and what you're willing to sacrifice. Space is usually the big thing that people sacrifice by spending less money. So, anyway, all right, let's keep listening.
I wasn't going to let anything spoil this day.
Well, I knew you'd like it.
Okay, hold on. I got to step back and watch this part. Let's watch this again because I want to see like what's up with New York City here.
Roosevelt Park.
I wasn't going to let anything spoil this day.
Well, you know, I knew you'd like it.
Oh yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses looks like. They have Jehovah's Witnesses standing there. They have Jehovah's Witnesses holding their carts all over the place here, dude. Oh my God. You can't escape them. They're in like every subway stop. There are Kingdom Halls in Manhattan all over the place. It's terrible. You know, it brings back bad memories knowing that these people hate me to such a degree that they would sooner watch me die a brutal, ugly death than speak to me, than be friends with me, than even give me the time of day. Just listen to this straight from the lips of a governing body member. Doesn't get higher up in the organization than this guy, this Jehovah's Witness from, I think 2015, 2016, somewhere in there, or maybe even more recently than that, had this to say about people like me.
Gehenna was used for the disposal of refuse and carcasses of those deemed unworthy of burial. Fire would be a suitable means of eliminating such refuse. Now, this point, what the fire did not consume, the maggots would. Now, I don't know if you know much about maggots, but you see a whole bunch of them. It's just not a pleasant sight. But what a fitting picture of the final end of all of God's enemies. Sobering, yet something we look forward to. However, the apostates and the enemies of Jehovah would say, well, that's gruesome, that's despicable. You teach your people these things? No, God teaches his people these things. This is what he's foretelling.
Well, I mean, Tony Morris believes himself to be like, what would you call it? Like an avatar of God himself. He believes that he speaks for God. So what he's telling us right now, whether it comes from the Bible or not, it comes from Tony Morris. And as an avatar of God, it might as well come from the Bible in this guy's mind. He's talking about apostates dying an ugly, brutal death, and he's reveling in it. And when he says apostates, what he means is anybody who is outside the religion, me included. Anybody who was once a member of the religion and is no longer a member of the religion. That's specifically a disfellowshipped person, or anybody who has been critical of the religion, disfellowshipped or not, to any degree. Ever been critical to any degree? You're an apostate and you deserve to die. A gruesome, bitter death, the likes of which he just described.
And frankly, for friends of Jehovah God, how reassuring that they're finally going to be gone. All these despicable enemies that have just reproached Jehovah's name, destroyed, never, ever to live again. Now, it's not that we rejoice in someone's death, but when it comes to God's enemies, finally, they're out of the way.
That's fucking disgusting, dude. What's wrong with somebody to say something like this? Like, what has to be going through your head to not only say it, but to think such a thing about anybody, any human being? Seriously, like, despicable isn't even the right word to use here. Absolutely grotesque and disgusting to wish death on somebody in such a graphic way. Holy shit.
Actually, these despicable apostates who at one point had dedicated their life to God and then they joined forces with Satan, the devil.
So here I guess he's specifically referring to people who were once members of the religion like me. But an apostate doesn't have to be an ex-member. It can be anybody who doesn't believe it anymore. Or, I'm sorry, it can be anybody who is critical of the religion.
Chief apostate of all time. So
your mom's a chief apostate.
And
that's why I love her. Let's just go, like, skip to the end a little bit because he has a little demonstration he wants to show you.
They will vanish like smoke. So I thought this would be a nice memory aid. This verse stay in the mind. Here's what Jehovah's promising.
I mean, why are they laughing? Are they aware of what he's doing right now? He is basically depicting snuffing out somebody's life like a flame. And he's laughing and excited about it. That is some shit right there. That is some shit. No excuses for this, dude.
As Jehovah's enemies. They're going to vanish like smoke.
That's hate speech right there, right? That's extremism, it seems to me. So every time I'm walking around the city, I'm in a subway terminal or whatever, a subway station, and I see Jehovah's Witnesses at the top peddling their books to the people around them. I remember that. I remember that clip. And realize that that is how they feel about me. That is what they want to happen to me. They want my life to be snuffed out like a flame permanently. They have an interest in making sure that that takes place. They live in excitement for that to happen. They laugh at the idea. So I'm not a huge fan of the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are at the subway station that I go to every day or are trying to peddle their bullshit to everybody around them. Not a fan of that at all. Now, if you're interested, there are actually some posters that somebody made up. I don't know who made them up, but there are like posters that you can order, I think from Etsy. I don't make them. Maybe I should print them. I don't know. And they're sticky. They're like sticky posters, and you bring them over and stick them to like the wall near where Jehovah's Witnesses preach. And they basically say, avoid the cult and stuff like that, and point out all of the destructive things about the religion. This is a pretty good way to get them to find new places to peddle their bullshit. I should probably start advertising that stuff or make my own like website, or not my own website, make my own like posters and stuff. That would be really good, I think. This is full-blown true persecution. What Toni Morris does to non-Jehovah's Witnesses is disgusting and painful and sad. Anyway, let's keep listening.
Let's see what's down the street.
Okay.
Okay, and apparently some dude was following them. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of musicians in New York City, that's for sure. They're all over the heckin' place. Matter of fact, there's this one guy that sells tickets for like $10,000 or something on Broadway to play the violin, right? And I have no idea who it is, but I guess he like went out there and played the violin in Central Park for donations. And people didn't even realize that he was somebody famous. They were just like walking by, and he made like $50 or something playing the violin out there when he's like this professional, incredible violin player. It's just crazy. There's a lot of this stuff, street performers, but most of it's in Times Square. There are some jumping guys that jump over audience members. They have audience members come up and they line them up and they put them on their knees, and then they jump over, like do flips, backflips and stuff, over 5 of them. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, please. They're pretty good.
Not bad.
Mark's gonna kiss her, isn't he? And that would be basically tantamount to fornication, pretty much, because you're not allowed to kiss. Matter of fact, you're not allowed to be alone with another person without a chaperone. You need a chaperone. So this right here is kind of breaking rules. Maybe not like bad enough that they would be she wouldn't be disfellowship for just hanging out with him, but there would be a lot of questions asked about what happened, and there's no way to verify whether or not she broke rules because no one was there to say otherwise, basically. This level is just like Star Road 1 or 2 or something like that. Anyway, what she's doing here could get her disfellowshipped if there was any real question about what she did. And there's no way to prove it.
Where's Kyle?
Oh, he's buying drugs. Naturally, because every non-Jehovah's Witness does drugs and fornicates. Always. Oh, yeah, and drugs are so easy to find in New York City, right? I've actually never... I don't know anywhere I could get drugs. That's intentional, though, because, you know, having been addicted to drugs at one point in my life, I would rather not, like, go down that road in the first place. But it's not the kind of thing where you can just walk up to somebody and ask for drugs and they'll give them to you. Well, I guess that's not strictly true. I was at a Queens subway station, and there was some guy out there asking me what I needed. So I suppose it's not impossible to find drugs if you wanted to. Okay, you can't get into the Statue of Liberty in one day, usually. You have to, like, sign up for that and schedule the appointment.
Mark, Lori, everybody, thanks. I really had a great time.
Could I ask like a really stupid question?
It's never stopped you before.
Why are we going home
Oh, he's so funny, right?
so early?
Aaron's right. This place doesn't even get going until after dark.
That's true, and if we leave now, all we're gonna do is sit in traffic.
Why don't we hit a couple of clubs?
What? They're not even 18, are they? Can they even get into the clubs? Maybe at 18 they can.
Sounds great, but... Come on, Tara, just call your parents, tell them we had a flat tire or something.
Oh, yeah, it's easy.
No, I better get home.
Oh.
I want to go home now.
People, have no fear. Thanks to me, your evening will not be a total waste.
Oh, so you're leaving? Now you know I don't touch that stuff. Stunts your growth.
You're lost.
Dude, okay. Just because somebody is not a Jehovah's Witness does not mean that they do drugs. They are equating not being a Jehovah's Witness with being a degenerate. Naturally, anybody who is not a Jehovah's Witness is a degenerate in their mind, apparently.
Kyle, put it away before we get busted.
Oh, I hope that's the good stuff.
The best.
Hey, my parents have got...
I didn't even see what it was. Did they show anybody what it was? Was it weed or what? I bet they were depicting it as PCP, right? That was really big back then in like the 90s.
Little party at my place.
Yeah.
Too bad, Tara, you're missing out. Tara, are you okay? Yeah, it's just that...
She is unhappy with and shocked by the fact that there were drugs around, and that makes sense. There are a lot of people who want nothing to do with drugs. That makes total sense. It's not just Jehovah's Witnesses who don't like drugs. I want nothing to do with drugs because of my past experiences, if no other reason. And I don't hang out with people who do like doing drugs. I mean, if you smoke weed, every now and then, that's one thing because that's legal. If you drink, that's one thing, But doing heavy stuff, not my thing at all anymore. I don't want anything to do with it. And I knew a ton of people in high school who had nothing to do with drugs. That's the kind of thing you vet before becoming friends with people. Do they do heroin? If they do heroin, that's probably on the do not make friends with this person list, right? And that's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. But they have like a vested interest in making it out like anybody outside the religion is evil, is drug addicted, fornicators, you name it, going to clubs and partying and sleeping with randos and the whole 9 yards. They have a vested interest in convincing you of that.
Never mind.
Well, we better get Tara back home before she misses her bedtime.
To be honest, Chrissy, I probably would have stayed. But it was getting dark, and I knew I'd never get away with coming home that late.
Dude, beautiful house again, seriously. And they're all staring at... Oh, so she's got to get a ride home from Mark. Uh-oh. Alone in a car? Now this is breaking some rules right here. That's not good.
Hey, don't forget about that party.
That's right, guys.
All right, see you later. Bye, Mark.
Mark told me he didn't mind taking me home.
Yeah, so he's giving him the signal like, yeah, you can do it. You're gonna get to be with her or whatever. You know what? Fair enough. I suppose some people are, in high school, I suppose some people, that's what they're thinking about. But if they're decent people, which I would say the majority of people out there are decent people, you don't have to worry about them forcing themselves on you. Like, if you say no, you say no, and it's okay. Most of the time. It's just you don't know when those times are, is all.
Oh, Mark, you want to make your next left?
Wait, Tara, there's one more place you've got to see.
This is crossing a line now. This is crossing a line, and this is not something that a normal person should or would do. You don't take somebody and tell them you're going to take them home and then take them somewhere else. You just do not do it. You don't do it.
Mark, I've got to get home.
I'll get you home. Trust me.
Mark.
This is your favorite spot?
Sure is.
What, may I ask, is so special about it?
You're here with me. That's what's so special about it. Is that what he's going to say? Please tell me that's what he says.
Sometimes I just like to come here and think.
About what?
Your mom.
Things.
Please say your mom.
Like how to tell your father you don't want to go to law school and work for the firm.
Isn't there good money in it?
I don't care about the money.
Yeah, I guess there are two types of law. I've learned this since my wife is going to law school. There's big law, there's corporate law, and then there's public interest. Now, if you work in public interest, this is like working for a nonprofit organization. It doesn't pay that well. I mean, it pays well, $80,000 a year. That's pretty fucking good. But you have $500,000 in student loans. So you're making, at the end of it, after taxes and student loans and everything, what are you making? $20,000, $30,000 a year maybe? Which is still good. But alternatively, you could work in big law or corporate law, which pays $600,000 a year, even $1 million a year if you're a partner. It's just apparently it sucks you dry. It's miserable. Oh my God. It's just awful in every way, apparently. People can't stand it. They hate, it's like they take advantage of you and treat you like shit, and you have to work your way up, and it's like a hazing period and everything. It's just awful, apparently. So, yeah, that's probably what he's talking about. It does pay good money if you're willing to have your soul sucked dry in a bad way.
I want to help people.
Oh, so he wants to go to public interest. Okay. But she sees this as an opportunity right here, what he just said, to cram Jehovah down his throat. Ready for this one?
Maybe teach or do volunteer work.
Yep, volunteer work is code in Jehovah's Witness speak for knock on doors to spread the ideology to others.
Sound like me.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Mark seemed to care about a lot of the things that were important to me.
And you don't see that he heard you say that before, so he's playing the exact same fucking tune you played earlier to try to get in good with you? Are you kidding me? How much of a sucker are you, really? Did you not see this coming?
Before I knew it, we had been talking for over an hour.
I don't know.
So Kyle's flying down the hallway. Beckwith jumps right on in front of him. Boom! Kyle and Beckwith flat on their backs.
Oh, no.
Kyle spent his entire sophomore year in detention for that one.
Kyle sounds like a jerk-off.
Tara, oh, never mind.
No, what?
There you go. Just take her home. She asked to go home. nobody would do something like this in all seriousness. Or if they do, they're a scumbag. She wanted to go home. Take her home.
What?
You're different from the other girls, aren't you?
Different? Is that supposed to be a compliment?
Yeah. I mean, I've never met anyone like you. I could tell from your poem.
Well,
she's a Jehovah's Witness, of course. But did you notice what happened there? He said he wanted to be in public interest, and she had a perfect opportunity to spread the good word once again, and she didn't. She had an opportunity to preach to him, and she refused to.
I was really impressed with your poem, too.
Oh, well, thanks. But yours told me something.
Told you what?
That you've got a lot going on inside. I mean, Lori and the other girls are okay, but they're also empty.
Airheads, I think is the word. Okay, go on.
You're different.
Chrissy, I can't believe how close I came to breaking Jehovah's laws that night.
Oh my God. See, that's what it's all about. If you befriend somebody, you are automatically a sinner. If you befriend outsiders, you are putting yourself in a position where you might break Jehovah's law. It's just absurd, dude. Come on. You can be friends with outsiders, and it's not a problem. There are plenty of outsiders who don't, who respect boundaries. They just want to make it out as though outsiders don't respect boundaries ever. It's simply not true. It's garbage. It's propagandistic garbage.
Things went way too far.
They were just talking. Are you kidding me?
And Mark wanted to go much farther. But I couldn't.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine if you don't want to. Nobody's pushing you or forcing you to do anything. Although, he did kind of push her into it a little bit by taking her to that spot against her will. That would not have flown with anybody that I knew. That's not okay. He should have taken her home when she wanted to go home, period.
I kept thinking about how much it would hurt my parents.
Why? It's your fucking life. Can't you live your own life? What do your parents have to do with absolutely anything here?
My friends. And especially Jehovah.
See, it's all selfish BS. It's all about the other people. You can't live your life the way you want to live it because that would hurt your other family members. Why would it hurt them? You got me. If you come out as lesbian tomorrow, it would hurt your family. Why do they care? Your guess is as good as mine. It would hurt them because they hate gay people. That's it. It is the epitome of selfishness for the elders and the governing body members and everybody else to impose their will and their way of living on the people around them. Control them. That's what this is all about. This is a control mechanism. It's just disgusting, honestly.
Still, it wasn't easy. It took everything I
Your mom's easy.
had to stop and to get Mark to take me home.
Tara?
Mark revealed a side of himself that I hadn't seen before.
I just don't get it. Things were going so great. What is it with you?
Okay, so now they're pretending that he is like throwing a fit because she won't sleep with him after maybe one date. Is that right? I suppose that happens sometimes, but guess what? People who do that are scumbags. They're scumbags. Don't hang out with those people. And if you find out somebody is like that, leave. Don't talk to him again. That's simple. Those scumbags do exist. Just walk away. You can be friends with outsiders and not have these types of experiences. That is perfectly okay. They're just desperate to convince every Jehovah's Witness that everyone outside the religion is a moral monster.
Mark didn't care about me or my feelings. He wanted one thing. Later on, I learned I wasn't the first.
Well, there are some people out there who are scumbags. Don't hang out with scumbags. Just like that. It's that simple. Just like there are some people out there that do drugs. Don't hang out with people who do drugs. If you find out they do drugs, stop hanging out with them. Just like that. You don't have to literally isolate yourself from every single person, at school or anywhere else. Every person that you know. You don't have to do that. You can live a normal, healthy life and be friends with other people, and it's okay. But not in their minds. It's absolutely unacceptable to be friends with outsiders. Because they all act like Mark. Literally every single person.
Or the last, to be taken to his favorite spot.
I gotta go.
He should not have taken her, against her will. He should have just taken her home when she wanted to go home. Or asked her, is it okay if I take you to this spot? And she would say, no. And he'd say, okay. Simple as that. That's how most people would do it. That's how a decent human being would act. Just like that. But they have to make it out as though everybody is evil. Every single person that you ever meet is a scumbag out to take advantage of you in one way or another. It's just ridiculous, dude. And it ruins people's lives. Ruined my life, personally, to not be allowed to hang out with outsiders. It's wrong. It's morally disgusting to impose that on children in your religion.
I felt so stupid, so naive. It was wrong to be alone like that with any guy.
No, it isn't. It's not. It's not wrong to be alone with anybody like that, period. You just found a scumbag. You have to firmly say no and be resolute in that position. Don't give in because he pesters you or something. That's the important part. You can hang out with others. That's perfectly okay.
But especially one who didn't serve Jehovah. I let Mark know that I would never go out with him again. That night I told my parents everything. They were very upset.
And why were they upset? Because she wanted to hang out with friends. She wanted to hang out with outsiders. Absolutely disgusting, dude.
Are you sure you told us everything? Nothing else happened?
No, Dad, I told you.
You've been telling us a lot of things.
Yeah, they don't believe her now, and this is the problem. This is why she could get disfellowshipped. There will be a judicial committee now. Nothing happened. A judicial committee, if you're a non-Jehovah's Witness, is a group of 3 elders who will investigate the matter, which means poke and pry into your life and try to figure out if you did something wrong or not. And they will go to any lengths. They will ask you very invasive questions to find out if they think that you did something with Mark. It's deeply wrong, like how they handle these cases. It's so wrong, in fact, that victims have been awarded money over how the elders handled their judicial committee and stuff like that. No joke. It's incredibly invasive. So 3 elders are going to start asking her questions about what happened, and they may or may not disfellowship her after asking those questions. They will decide whether or not it warrants a disfellowshipping, basically.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Honey, what were you thinking? Didn't you get it? Why do you think he took you there?
Don't you know what he wanted?
Yeah, because, well, in that situation, it's totally reasonable to, believe that that's what he wanted and that was what he intended. If the parents were not complete fucking scumbags, they would have taught their daughter about dealing with those types of situations where somebody takes you to a secluded area and hangs out with you and talks to you for 2 hours or whatever. if they weren't absolutely terrible parents, they would have made it clear that in those types of situations, you need to be firm and tell him no and leave it at that. Don't accept no for an answer. He should take you back. But they want to shelter their kids from these types of situations at any cost. So they're going to pretend that this type of thing never happens, because in their mind it doesn't. She'll never be with a non-Jehovah's Witness boy. She'll never be with somebody who has that on the mind anyways. And once again, they're going to use this as the premise to claim that every non-Jehovah's Witness is a scumbag.
Can't believe this.
After a while, things started to calm down, and they really listened.
Tara, it took a lot of courage to tell us all that. Sorry I got so angry.
That's okay, Dad. I just wish I came to you and Mom sooner.
So not only will she go through a judicial committee, but she will be punished heavily for this. She won't be allowed to leave the house. She won't she won't be allowed to hang out with anybody outside the congregation under any circumstances. Heavily monitored. I guess cell phones didn't exist at the time because it's 1999, but you know, they'd take her cell phone or they would limit who she's allowed to text or whatever else. In fact, they may even pull her out of school for this type of situation. They'll go to any lengths to prevent her from having a normal experience now. A normal childhood. Because she wanted to befriend outsiders. She wanted to do a group project with a girl. And that eventually led to nearly fornicating. So.
Maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Honey, we're just glad things didn't go any further than they did.
I know, but I still feel awful about what did happen.
There's no reason to feel awful about it. She did a good job. She did exactly what you're supposed to do. She laid it on the line, made it clear she had boundaries, and she wasn't going to accept and she wasn't going to accept what he had to say. She was going to go home, and that's it. She did the right thing. She did the right thing. And she's being scolded for it because she shouldn't have been hanging out with a non-Jehovah's Witness. Just fucking disgusting, dude, how they portrayed this whole thing. It's just disgusting.
And so do we. We got...
I sent it a minute ago, full send, where I jump off a cliff and hope that things work out, but they didn't work out, so I learned my lesson. I'm not going to send it.
So wrapped up in our new jobs, the house, that we didn't even see what you were going through.
Honey, we're gonna do everything that we can to help you get through this.
It's been a long day. Let's get some rest and we can talk about this tomorrow.
Love you so much.
My parents, and later the elders, were really there for me.
Told you, the elders, they're sending her through a judicial committee right now. That's what she means when she says, and later the elders.
The heart is more treacherous than anything else. I had heard that scripture 1,000 times before, but never gave it much thought. Now I couldn't stop thinking about it. I wanted to be liked and accepted so much that I was willing to hide who I really was.
She wasn't hiding who she was just living her life. Seriously. What is wrong with these people? That they view things this way. It's disgusting, dude. Absolutely disgusting.
I had to start setting things straight.
It was so perfect. I mean, what was...
Oh, so she started out as having a friendship with this girl. By the way, this girl didn't do anything. She just wanted to be friends. And now She's ending that friendship because you're not allowed to have outsiders as friends, plain and simple. They haven't even really toned this message down that much. I mean, they don't talk about it maybe as much as they did in the 90s, but this is the exact same message they give now.
What's the problem? I know Mark practices safe sex.
Lori couldn't believe that I...
See, this is the thing, again. They believe that everybody in, the outside world wants to sleep with each other. It's all about sleeping with people. In all seriousness, people on the outside world don't have this on the mind. If you say, I'm not interested, I don't want anything to do with it, this is my boundary, people respect that, for real. And if they don't, they're scumbags. It's not very common that people come in like this girl and make fun of you for not sleeping with a guy or whatever. It's not like that. It's just bullshit. All of it's bullshit.
I turned Mark down.
It's because...
Because of what?
Because I don't want to. That's all you have to say. Because I don't want to. I don't want to sleep with somebody. That's it.
Believe that I turned Mark down.
It's because...
Because of what?
If there's one thing I can't stand on Mario Maker, it's blind jumps.
Because of what I believe.
I don't get it.
I mean, it's my religious beliefs, Lori.
Yeah, what's the religious belief that you're following right now by ending a friendship? What's the religious belief? Tell me what it is. Because Jehovah's Witnesses get a lot of flack for this, but when they do, they deny it. They say this is BS, this isn't true. We don't ban people from being friends with outsiders. Yet, we see things like this. How does it get clearer? That's what they believe.
Look, Tara, I went through a lot of trouble to get you guys together. And now you've suddenly gotten religious? What's up with that?
I haven't suddenly gotten religious. This is what I've always believed. I guess I just forgot who I really am and what I care about.
Don't you care about Mark?
I did, but...
No, nobody in their right mind would ever say, yes, I care about Mark. They hung out once. Okay, this isn't a big deal. This isn't like, oh my God, I'm losing a serious relationship or some other nonsense. This is just a made-up problem that they're expressing here.
I shouldn't have gotten involved with him, and I'm definitely not going to do something immoral with him.
Who said do something immoral? I have morals.
I'm not saying that you don't.
Then what are you saying?
She's saying you don't. She's saying you don't have morals. That is, in fact, what she's telling you right now, yes. She's saying that what you do is immoral, and your immorality is rubbing off on her. Now, she may be trying to back herself out of that corner she just painted herself into. That's just what it is.
That I don't believe in having sex before marriage.
Okay, you don't have to. No one's telling you to do that. You can just, go do whatever you want. No one is stopping you here. I don't understand.
If it's just somebody that you really care about, what's the big deal?
The big deal is that the Bible says it's wrong.
Do you have to do every little thing the Bible says?
This whole situation is completely made up. People respect other people's boundaries. I have never been in the type of situation where, I had a boundary, even as a Jehovah's Witness, and somebody violated it. Somebody pushed that boundary and tried to force me into doing this or that or being with this person or whatever. It doesn't happen. They just have a vested interest in portraying the world as evil. That's it.
Look, Lori, I should have told you this before. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Are you serious? She didn't tell her this, all the way up to this moment?
You are?
Yes, and we take the Bible seriously. It says sex is for two people who are married.
You're kidding.
Or your mom.
Right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so it didn't work out with you and Mark. But don't forget about the party Friday. Maybe you'll meet somebody else. Somebody who's more like you.
No, Lori, I don't think so. Not there.
Only from the Kingdom Hall. That's the only place that she can make friends. That's the whole idea here.
Well, then just come and hang out with us girls.
Thanks, but I just wouldn't be comfortable at the party.
Okay, so you don't want to date guys, and you don't want to go to parties. Don't you people have any kind of fun?
Of course we do. The Bible doesn't condemn fun. I would love to explain my beliefs. Maybe then all this would make more sense to you.
I don't know, Tara, it's late.
See, she set boundaries down, clear boundaries. I don't want to sleep with anybody. I don't want to do this or that or whatever else. In reality, people from quote unquote the world would respect those boundaries. And what they're doing is portraying her not respecting their boundaries. Like, they're not respecting each other's boundaries. That's the point they're trying to communicate here. Trying to make it clear that Jehovah's Witnesses simply cannot live with non-Jehovah's Witnesses. They can't work with them. They can, like, live in the same area and be, like, around them, but they can't fully, truly understand each other. It's honestly sad, dude. It's sad that Jehovah's Witnesses have a vested interest in convincing everybody around them, or everybody in their religion, that you are evil if you are not a part of that religion.
Maybe another time.
Telling her all that was not easy, but it was
not necessary either.
worth it. I think that Lori respected me for it, and it felt good to finally stand up for what I believed. I just wish that I had spoken up earlier. It would have saved me a lot of pain.
There's some way to, I don't remember how to do this. There's some way to, like, scratch, like, lunge. How do you lunge? I forget how you lunge. That's it. I couldn't remember. Okay, got it. Oh my God, this song is disturbing. I remember this song. I sang the shit out of this song when I was little.
With this sinful state you contend.
Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It's like PTSD over here, for real. Actually, it really is something called RTS that is based on PTSD, or similar to PTSD. It actually causes real symptoms that are really hard to deal with. Nightmares, flashbacks, and things like that. It's pretty rough.
For God is your helper and friend. Make the truth your own.
Oh my God, dude, this is terrible.
Too bad ways do not be
Ugh, God, it makes me want to throw up in all seriousness. It's terrible. Anybody else in the chat remember that shit? Anyone remember that song? They changed the songbook. So this isn't something that you'll probably find outside of, like, older videos like this. They, from my understanding, Prince, before he died, contributed a great deal to the new songbook. And I think they completely got rid of the old one. Yeah, I don't know if it's true that Prince contributed or not, but that's what I heard. Because he was a Jehovah's Witness before dying.
Tara, are you all right? Are you sure?
Oh, and this is that one chick, the pioneer woman that had lunch with her earlier, and she was, like, eating and praying and so on and so forth.
You want to talk about it?
She feels like she sinned when in reality she's just having friends. That's it. She was just having friends outside the religion. There really is nothing wrong with that. In fact, you know what's really wrong here? Jehovah's Witnesses trying to make her feel bad. That's what's really wrong about this situation.
Stacy, ever since I've moved here, you've been trying to be my friend. And I've acted so stupid. Why do you keep trying?
Because I don't think you really like this. I think I'm looking at someone who's going through a hard time.
Dude, I'm actually a huge fan of that little ascot thing she's wearing there. What is that? That little thing she's got on her neck there? I think that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. That's a cool style. That's one thing that should have stuck around after the 90s, you know?
And who really needs a friend? And I'd like to be that friend, if you let me.
You have been a friend, Stacy. Maybe even more than you know. I'll be okay.
All this because she wanted some friends. Really? She just wanted a friend outside the religion. What is so bad about this, honestly? Are they going to make her a lesbian? Doubt it, sadly. That would be an absolutely fantastic ending to this, but no. No, sadly, they're not. They're not going to make her a lesbian. The natural assumption with Jehovah's Witnesses is that nobody is a lesbian, so or that nobody is gay. So they're actually okay with guys hanging out with guys and girls hanging out with girls. But naturally, you're not allowed to, hang out with somebody who's a guy if you're a girl or vice versa.
I realize now how much Jehovah cares and that I have my parents and friends like you to help me.
You know what? Tomorrow, you and me. Let's go out in service and do lunch or something. Does that sound good?
I like that.
Good.
Seriously, it's so emotional over nothing. She just wanted to have some friends. That's it. And they're just losing their minds over this. Come on.
As long as we don't go back to the Silver Spoon Diner again.
You mean the Greasy Spoon Diner. Oh.
Bonding over a shared experience. How nice. Yeah, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in Mario Maker here, if you duck down on these little white blocks, it gives you a little hop after 3 seconds. The reason is because in Mario 3, originally, if you duck down on those blocks, you would go behind the scene and it, run around. You could do all kinds of shenaniganery that way. Kind of interesting.
Chrissy, that was months ago.
Oh, so she was writing a letter to her pen pal, apparently, is what was happening. Okay.
And I'm finally getting over things and feeling much better. I see things a lot differently now. I realize that being in the truth means more than just going to the Kingdom Hall with our parents.
That's another thing. They call it a truth, colloquially. That's the phrase that they use to describe it, the truth. Just disgusting, dude. It's propaganda beginning to end, all of it.
That we really do have to make the truth our own. Being with people who want to do the same thing can make a big difference.
Does that bag say D's nuts? I think it says D's nuts on it here. Somebody tell me what that bag says right over my shoulder there. Does that say D's nuts?
That we really do have to make the truth our own. Being with people who want to do the same thing can make a big difference.
Dude, I think it says D's nuts. Oh, God, I so wish that's what it said.
Perfect timing. I just finished a letter to an old friend.
Oh, really? From back home?
Yeah. Excellent. Hi, Meg. Hi, Lynette.
Hey, thank you.
Notice these are all fellow Jehovah's Witnesses. Not one is a non-Jehovah's Witness because they don't share your values otherwise. You can't be friends with non-Jehovah's Witnesses. You can't. Dude, I am just sucking on this level. Sadly, it's just chips. I think it says D's nuts. I think it does. It's an oots bat. What the fuck is oots? I've never heard this term in my entire life. I'm going with the canonical D's nuts. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. So how was service for you this morning?
At first, I didn't think I had anything in common with the friends in my congregation.
I went with Stacy and her
But you know what? We have the most important thing in common we could have. Our friendship with Jehovah. Things are going great with my parents. I'm a lot.
Dude, this episode is fucking disgusting, honestly. If a JW gets assigned a group project in school, are they just expected to refuse and to do it because it's against their religion? No, it's okay to do it, but they shouldn't be going over to their house to do it. They should allot class time to do it. On the rare occasion, it's okay if they call the person to do it. And depending on like what the Jehovah's Witness parents believe, they might even be okay with the Jehovah's Witness kid going over to their house once. But that's it. And only for the, group project. And while they're there, they should take the opportunity to spread the word, spread the good word, spread Jehovah's word to them, basically. Just disgusting, dude, honestly. Just simply disgusting.
A lot more open with them now.
Why don't you just go ahead with the girls and we'll just meet you over there, okay?
Okay.
And I let them know how I really feel. We've gotten a lot closer.
That was some full-on after-school special BS. Oh, absolutely. That's Jehovah's Witnesses for you.
There, love you.
Hey, Tara, does this mean your dad's gonna try and be a sports hero again? That's right, like the last time.
Isn't he in traction for like a month? Hey, I heard that.
Just kidding, Brother Madsen.
Sometimes I used to think I was missing out because I couldn't do everything the kids in school did.
I certainly felt that way. Absolutely. When you are sitting there while everyone else makes Valentine's cards for each other and you're just waiting for the time to pass, yeah. Definitely feel like, you're being left out for sure. That makes sense. That checks out.
Now I think that they're the ones missing out. Maybe there are a lot of things a Christian can't do, but there's a lot of things we can do. The friends in our congregation get together all the time. I can't wait for you to meet them when you come out and visit. I hope that's soon.
Should I send it? Ooh, I should send it. I didn't have to do a full send. It was just right there.
I wish I could go back and do things differently, but I can't change the past. I can only move forward and try to learn from my mistakes. You see, I've learned something very important. Something that I will never forget. Who my real friends are. And Chrissy, I hope that you will always be one of them. Forever. Love, Tara.
Okay, well, there you go. I guess that's the episode. It's honestly sad and disgusting that's how they framed everything up. You can't be friends with outsiders no matter what. That is just sad. Oh, there are like 2 minutes left in it. Oh God, you have taught me from my youth on, and until now I keep telling about your wonderful works. Psalm 71:17, okay?
We don't want to...
Oh, apparently there's like a little bit more after this.
We don't want to stick ourselves in a corner and...
We acknowledge the following locations and organizations for their cooperation.
And just hide and refuse to talk to anyone, because that's...
France, Elbeuf, Livour, Paris, Italy, Rome. Wow, did they go to Paris and Rome to film some of this stuff? Are you kidding me? I don't remember that.
That's not balanced.
There's nothing wrong with talking to the kids at school. We can be friendly with them because we're obviously going to...
Brooklyn, New York, Danbury, Connecticut, Jersey City, New Jersey, Manhattan, and Paterson, New York. Yeah, Paterson is the location of one of their headquarters. Brooklyn, New York was also the location of one of their headquarters up until recently. They sold it for what we believe to be is somewhere in the vicinity of $1.3 billion. Prime real estate. Jersey City is actually huge. You wouldn't think so, but it's just as big as like New York City in some areas. Lots of tall buildings, really beautiful. Danbury, Connecticut's pretty far out there. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
It has some of the same interests.
But there's a certain line that we just won't cross.
Kids that witness kids, they need to be honest with the kids at school. They need to let them know right away.
You bring it up. You tell them what your beliefs are, you know, that you're Jehovah's Witness. They're proud of what they are.
Kids today need to recognize that there are good associates within the Christian congregation.
Oh, this is that drug addict kid.
They can have a great time and yet still live up to Bible standards and Bible principles.
Wow, that's bad. This program's based on the Awake magazine series Young People Ask, published by Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, Inc. In the dramatic segments of this program, any resemblance to actual modern-day people or situations is merely coincidental. I bet. I feel like they based this on a real situation. Just for saying that. That's kind of weird, right? All music was composed and recorded expressly for this program. Oh, yeah. They had that one song that sounded exactly like Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio, right? Produced by Watchtower Bible and produced by Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. That's not their address anymore. They sold that Brooklyn property. I can't see that property from my house, but I am pretty close to where it is. It's a hotel now. There you go. Copyright 1999. I was wondering when this was made. I guess 99. I thought so. Well, there you go. There's the episode. I don't know. It was honestly cheesy and terrible and ridiculous simultaneously. Embarrassing, sad, the whole thing. This is something that, I don't know if you knew you can do this, but if you grab the little slider on YouTube and drag upward, it gives you a more granular, it makes it move slower and you can see the frames and stuff. Anyways, it's just, the whole thing is just disgusting that they had like a vested interest in making teenagers feel bad about having outsiders as friends when it was obviously nothing. It was just her hanging out with kids. And not every non-Jehovah's Witness is into drugs or wants to get with you or whatever. Just set your boundaries. People respect boundaries by and large. They made this in 1999. Sounds like it was made in the 70s after a Full House binge. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. It seems like more early 90s than late 90s, but yeah. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, check me out on Patreon. And let me know if you want to see more stuff like this in the comments. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.